Hello and welcome to Creator Toolbox. This is the webinar that lets you learn more about ServiceNow developer stuff regardless of what your skill set is on ServiceNow. I am so excited to be here, but let's do our introductions first. We have Andrew Barnes, who's going to be showing us something very exciting today. Hi, Andrew.
Oh, happy day, Chuck. I'm Andrew Barnes, developer advocate here at ServiceNow. I am, just pleased to be here today. I have been working on the platform for coming up on 7 years. Knowledge 14 was my first ServiceNow event, and we're about to come up on Knowledge 2021, which is exciting. And I've got nothing else to say. I'm just excited to be here.
It is a beautiful day, and I found out today that I am, as of noon, I can register for my COVID shot. They're opening it up to the 55 and older crowd now.
You're not a day older than 28, Chuck.
Yeah, keep lying to yourself. It might be true. My name is Chuck Tomasi, senior old man. Yeah, and I've been at ServiceNow since mid-2010. I was a customer for a couple of years before that, and like Andrew, I'm just happy to be here. What have you got for us, Andrew?
Oh, I'm so excited today to show you my favorite Quebec feature. So Quebec is our current early access release version of ServiceNow. We're about to leave early access and go to general availability. And for developers, there is nothing more exciting to me than Script Tracer. So typically, we're doing live coding on most of our broadcasts here. And unfortunately, I can't do, I can't accidentally force a place where we need to do error checking and debugging. So I have put together a scenario today that is a real scenario, but has been recreated for this. And I'm going to walk you through how I went about debugging this before Quebec and using the platform capabilities that allow me to debug things, and then highlight how I would do it starting now in Quebec, which will show off Script Tracer. So that's what we're going to go through today. Do you have any questions before we dive in?
Well, we had some good ways to do this before, and you'll show us some of those. And now we've got an even better way. This is really helpful. Who's the primary persona? Let's start with that. Script Tracer's for.
The primary persona here is your more expert ServiceNow developer who's doing diving in and doing scripting, and trying to understand why what's going on during a transaction. So I'll walk through the scenario today, which is I'll be working on a business rule, and I'll have an unexpected behavior that's being caused by something that's not my business rule. And I don't know what's causing that. And so that is a good example of the time where you'll need to use something like Script Tracer or any of our debugging tools to figure out why an unexpected behavior is being caused, and then go look at that and address it potentially with other developers.
I love how you know it's going to break. Now, typically you don't in the real world. It's like, surprise!
Surprise!
This field is whacked, and some downstream stuff happened, and surprise. So yeah, by the time you get to Script Tracer, you're usually aware of something is happening, and because it can be a pretty deep stack. I don't know if you've ever turned on like debug business rules and just do a save on an incident. It's like, holy smokes, there's a lot of stuff that happens.
For days.
It is, and some is skipped and some is very useful information. You'll show us some of that, I hope.
I actually will.
This is one step better because now you can start. Well, I don't want to take away the thunder.
Yes, let's save the thunder. All right. So let's dive in. I will start by sharing my screen with you fine folks watching out there in YouTube and Twitch land today. So I am a ServiceNow developer. I am working on this business rule to solve a requirement that has come in. I'm working in my update set in the right scope, and I have this business rule on incident. And sneakily enough, it's called Showcase Script Tracer because that's what we're doing. I told you this is a little bit contrived of a scenario because forcing a bug is not something that's easy to do on a live stream.
And it's not natural. It's hard to break your own code.
Yeah, it is. So on the incident table, we've got this business rule that's going to run. I've got it light on conditions right now, so I make sure I invoke it. But basically it says, if I've got a problem record, then I'm going to do this very simple script, which is to set a value of contact type over in my problem record from the value of subcategory on incident. And this works. So let's show it working. So over here, I am on this incident record. And if I change, subcategory here to operating system and then hit save, I've got this related problem already. And you'll see that I have already, let me reload this.
Kudos to Jason in the chat. He says, I break my own code all the time. I think we all do. We all do. It's just not something you want to do on purpose.
So I'm going to save this record and see subcategory was operating system. And over here, we get set operating system. And you'll notice what I changed was my normal tester is Fred Luddy, our founder. Fred Luddy here is my favorite tester. And I was testing with him, and you'll notice that the subcategory or the contact type was set over here. And you'll see what happens. So I've got operating system here. I hit save. And my subcategory changed on me.
Well, that ain't right, because you didn't change the subcategory. You were changing the contact type on the related problem record. Right, but that's not a normal thing. You shouldn't see...
You shouldn't.
Right.
Yeah. I agree. And so my code did what I told it to do, which was copy that over. And so my business rule is working. But someone else's business logic, when the caller is set to Fred Luddy or maybe some other conditions on here, it's setting the subcategory to 1. And 1 isn't a valid option for that field. So we've got a problem.
Yeah, I would say so. And I think you've got 2 problems. One is that it's setting subcategory, and then it's being amplified by your business rule that's copying it to another record, which is a perfectly legit use case. This happens all the time.
All the time. So what are the options for me as a user here? So I've got a few of them, right? So if I go back to my business rule, I've actually set one of them already, which is, or started to. So over here in the, script number gutter area, I don't like that name, but it's the name.
It's the name. I call it the edge, but gutter is probably more appropriate.
That's what our docs call it. So that's what I call it. So I can set a log point. So I can, do something like log what the value of the subcategory is when my script is running.
And this is different than putting a GS info right into the code.
It is. And do you know what the difference is? I know you do.
One is going to be in there all the time. It's part of your code, and it's going to run every time it runs. And when it gets to prod, it's going to run. A log point is, hey, I'm doing this as sort of a Band-Aid approach. It's a temporary log statement.
Absolutely. And it only runs during my session.
So if you log out and come back, all your log points are gone.
Well, and I'm not affecting other users either.
Well, that's true. You're not polluting the log.
I'm not
the
affecting
log.
other developers, or even if I'm using a log point in production, I'm not affecting other users. I'm just affecting my user.
Okay.
Subcategory. Look at me. I'm typing a thing out, Chuck. I don't normally do that.
Where's the copy pasta?
Where's the copy pasta? I almost did because I almost spelled subcategory wrong. All right, so I'm going to log that, but unfortunately, I already know that that's not going to help me. And the reason I know that that's not going to help me is because my script picked up the new value and copied it over.
Right, right.
So I already know that when my script is getting there, subcategory is already set.
The damage is done.
The damage is done.
Yours is running after because you're changing a record related to your current incident.
Absolutely. Since I'm not modifying the current record, I'm running this after. I could even run this async. I'm running it after so I can invoke it easily from debugging because async doesn't debug quite as easily.
Yeah. And would it be safe to assume that the possible culprit is in a before business rule?
It very well may be. It could be a before business rule. It could be a flow. It could be a workflow. It could be any number of things that are causing this. But in order to start debugging that, I am going to fire open my trusty script debugger window because I've set a breakpoint and I love breakpoints.
So breakpoints and log points act as breakpoints? Is that the...
So I set both a log point and a breakpoint.
Oh, okay, okay.
And I can see both of those here. So on line 4, I've got a log point, and on line 5, I've got a breakpoint. And so if I go invoke this logic again, so I change the record and hit save, over here, I will stop my execution at the point that my code was run, and I can inspect it.
Mm-hmm.
And if the thing that I need to inspect is after where I set my breakpoint, then I can actually step forward in time and find that business logic that caused my problem. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, for us, we can see that our current record and the subcategory value at this point is too late for us. It's already been set, and we can't go backwards in time with the breakpoint. We can only step forward. So I can move forward in time and, step forward and see the future business logic that's applying in my transaction. So this is a really powerful tool when you know early enough where to start looking. But if you're after a thing has happened, it's too late. So you have to find a place to put a breakpoint early enough that you can step forward. So I'm going to resume my transaction because now my log point and my breakpoint have told me the same thing, which is that subcategory is set before my after business rule.
Yeah, yeah.
So one thing you mentioned that you can do is over here in the session logger, you can go to settings, and then you can turn on the business rule debugging.
Now that's handy. I'm still an old school person and go to system debug or system diagnostics, find the right one, turn it on. Nothing really appears to happen. This is handy because it's going to be logging back to the session log anyway. It comes here. I mean, it also goes on the standard forms and lists below. So if you wanted to use your browser to find it, but I just find that session log window is so much easier to use.
So let me resume that. And then over here, what we'll get is, this is what appears at the bottom of your form. But here in this window, it is filterable and searchable.
Oh, nice.
So I could go through this and inspect all of the different business rules.
Search for subcategory or whatever.
And search for subcategory and things like that. So I could do that. Category.
Okay.
So what's this one? Subcategory.
Something changed it. Yeah. But
something changed it.
Something changed it. Okay, we know something changed it.
That's not helpful. I already knew that.
I told you we had good tools before. Now we've got something better.
So this is one, another way that I can do it. And then the last thing that I will do before I move on to the script tracer is let me show you what I most commonly would have done as actually one of the first things.
Sure.
Which is I'll go to the business rule table. So actually we do it from here. I go to configure business rules on my incident record.
Yeah, this is common if you've taken over someone else's project or you don't remember what you worked on 6 months or 6 days ago, and you have a brain fart and you say, well, it must be in here, right? So you went and checked the business rules for what? Script contains subcategory?
So the first thing I do is just see if anything was modified recently.
And the answer is no.
And the answer is no. And then I would do something like what you said, which is, script contains like subcategory.
Yeah.
And nothing.
Except for yours that is which not the culprit.
Yep. This is not my culprit because I created it. So let's turn off the business rule debugging. And let's turn off our breakpoint so that we don't get interrupted.
That's another advantage of that session log window. When you do this from the modules,
they're all together.
Well, not that they're all together, but if you turned on, say, business rules and SQL, but you just wanted to turn off the SQL queries, you can't do that from a navigation module.
Oh yeah, because that module just says turn it off.
And then it's disable all. I'm like, oh, ow. So that lets you be a little more prescriptive in what you're turning on and off. I hadn't thought of that till just now.
So let us now go show off script tracer. So
that's what we came here for.
The third tab here is our script tracer. And so I've got a new record queued up here, and I'm going to make a change. And we're going to, set it to Fred. Come on, you can set it to Fred. All right. So now I'm ready to perform my action. So I'm going to say start tracer. And this is going to start inspecting. Again, this is like breakpoints. It is just affecting your session and your transaction. So it's not having negative performance on the system for any other users. It's just my user. So I'm going to hit save. And we get some information here. So I'm going to hit stop trace.
Okay.
And start looking at what happened. So the first thing that happened was the save button, which is I pressed the save button and it said, hey, you pressed the save button, and the save button did some stuff. And in this window, you can see that the short description is highlighted here and what is changed in the short description. I can uncheck this, which says, filter down to just the things that were changed. And see all of the values. And we can see short description was changed here.
We may want to sort that at some point.
But I can, filter it down to just the things that changed. And I can even inspect the script from that UI action. I can open up that script, but this isn't what caused my problem. So I need to move on to the next thing. Now, there are some filtering capabilities here. We only have 3 records, but there'll be many times, especially on task tables with SLAs, that you're going to get a lot of information here, and you're going to want to filter it down. So let me just show you that there are filter capabilities. So the table affected, because it's not just inspecting my incident table, it's inspecting any record that is touched as a result of my transaction.
Nice.
So that's what this is doing.
Yep.
And we see that we changed incident and problem in that transaction. Good to know. And I can filter that out. Then the engine that caused the change. So script includes business rules, flows, etc., are going to be here and filterable. And then you can do text filters. We don't need those because we've already been narrowed down to 3 things. We can inspect 3 things.
Pretty easy to go through those.
So I click on the second one and I get subcategory changes from IP address to 1 on my incident table. This feels like the offender.
It does feel like the offender. The next question is,
so this has told me exactly what has caused my problem is I know that the result was subcategory changed to 1 and I didn't want it to. And this is telling me this is the thing that caused subcategory to go to 1. So I have found the culprit. And I can nice. I've got a little inspector here that shows me where in this script this has been caused.
Kind of.
I can go inspect this script.
Oh, nice.
So I can hit show script and that will open up
the entire thing.
Full script.
Yep.
So it'll retrieve the whole thing, especially in long ones. This is really powerful. I could open up the file itself. So this will open up the this script include in its own window. So this is showing me that, hey, something has called this script include.
That's what I was saying. It kind of tells you, but it doesn't.
Kind of tells me.
We need to know who's invoking this. So we have a way to do that too, right?
We do have a way to do that.
What's your 2-click method to find the baddie?
Click view file.
Yeah.
That's going to open the script include in the regular full editor for me. And then I can right click on the script include name and say find references. And you'll see that itself references it. And then this other set incident in active business rule. All
right, hold it right there.
Let's go.
Oh, okay. Why was that not shown as one of the things in Script Tracer?
Yeah, that's a good question. And the answer lies in that business rule didn't actually cause the change directly. So Script Tracer here, when I click on one of these, you will always get in this state area what changed and which thing caused that directly.
So it's looking for basically set values that are happening.
Yes.
Okay.
So though it went through that business rule that's calling this script include, the script include is actually what did the changing of the value. And so I could see a future enhancement where it could tell me what invoked this script include. But right now, the way it's constituted is this shows me what caused the thing directly.
Okay. And we're just a couple of clicks away from getting to that anyway. So.
Yep. And so we'll see that this business rule is got a property.
It's buried in a property. Oh, that's always fun to find. It's not just the script include or the business rule is doing something nasty. They buried this in a property.
And you'll see that this is supposed to set incidents inactive. And somehow this property for which field to change has gotten changed from the active field to the subcategory field. And so I can go open up that property and change it. Well, more importantly, I can go talk to the developer that caused that and see why that happened and if it's appropriate to revert that.
Has this ever happened to you? Someone changes a property and suddenly the whole app goes off the rails.
But yeah, so I can copy this, and go over here and open that. And you'll see that this is set to subcategory. So now I know why this is happening, and then I can start to address it either through logic or through talking to that other developer. So Script Tracer allowed me to figure out earlier than my business rule what was causing issues before it. Whereas that's a big enhancement to me. It would have saved me weeks of development debugging time in the past. And I'm so excited about this. I think it's going to be super valuable to any developer to figure out what is causing their, the values to change and what was actually touched along the way. This is, so breakpoints and the script debugger are awesome from everything forward of your point of breakpoint. But this allows me to figure out where to set my breakpoint early enough and filter it to just the right things that I should inspect. So it allows me to go faster, and I like going faster.
What's under the transaction tab? We didn't look there yet.
Yeah, so this is similar to what you get on that left-hand side of the script debugger window during a breakpoint. So this equates to, in the script debugger over here, this panel. So the transaction details.
Gotcha. And Jeff in the chat says, I don't see an option to enter a log point in the business rule script. How is that done?
So most likely, you need to go set a system property. So if we, return to the system property list and not, that was bad. Let's just go to the system properties. What's it called? Log point? Nope. You have to spell it right.
Log underscore point?
I don't remember the name, but I know I've updated it recently. It's glide.debug.log_point.
There you go. Easy enough. So turn that on and you can set your log points if it's not already on.
If that's set to true, you'll get that option in your business rule to right click in that script box gutter for log points.
And the proverbial question about, does this come with Quebec? Is it a pay-for product? All that stuff. What are your
it is natively in Quebec. There's no plugins need to be activated or anything. And there's this is a core platform capability. So there's no, I can rarely say this, but there are no licensing implications with using Script Tracer.
Very nice. Very nice.
So just is there anything else in the Script Tracer that you want to inspect? I think we covered pretty much all the details. The filtering will be really useful when you have 50 things. But
definitely.
On this one, it was already narrowed down to us pretty good.
Yeah, and I've seen it where it is 40 or 50 things, and half of them or more are, say, task SLA. I'm like, it's probably not that. So let's just filter those out, and you get down to something that's more manageable. And like we did, we could either step through these one by one. I go, where's subcategory, where's subcategory, where's subcategory, or you can do a quick search for it. So, available from Orlando. Yes, log points are available starting in Orlando. So they've been out for about a year.
Sounds about right.
Yep.
I know it's, since roughly that time, maybe one family before that. Log points came out the family version after breakpoints.
So any announcements we need to make? Okay. Any announcements before we? Are we done screen sharing? I should ask.
So let's stop the screen share.
Okay.
And that was fun. I'm so excited about Script Tracer. Yeah. Thanks for going on that journey with me. I know it was a little bit of a contrived scenario, just because invoking an error on demand is not the easiest thing to do. But I hope this was valuable and showed the power of the Script Tracer, and just hopefully shows you how I go about doing debugging in general. And some of the tools that are available, because if you're not doing it regularly, you can easily forget about things like turning on debugging ACLs or using log points, because if they're not high in your thought process, it's easy to revert back to a thing you did 5 years ago, or that's not as familiar yet to you.
Gives me an idea for a video series. Debugging. If only I had 30 more hours in the week.
We'll order you up some extra hours so you can do that. So I think that was a fun journey.
That was fun.
I hope you out there who are watching this found this useful. We'll also have I think I already have a blog on Script Tracer, but if I don't, I will. And feel free to add comments to that or to this YouTube video if you're watching this in the future.
Actually, there's a blog on Script Tracer coming out Thursday of this week, so March 4th.
There we go.
We've got it all scheduled up and ready to go.
Do you have any? I think you have a Breakpoint coming out tomorrow, don't you?
We have a Breakpoint episode coming out tomorrow with one of our product managers, Charn Lin. He's going to be talking about the command line interface. And I jokingly said, wait a minute, Charn Lin and command line. Does CLI have anything to do with your name? He thought that was funny. He didn't expect that question. But yeah, Breakpoint, you can find that at bit.ly, bit.ly/sn-break-point, and then subscribe with, or if you want to find it on Apple Podcasts or Google or Amazon, Spotify, it's all over the place. So yeah, I look forward to that. And thank you, everybody who has listened and subscribed to that. We just had a Tech Now episode last week, which is now on the community and on the developer blog and on YouTube. So wherever you find your Tech Now episodes. Episode 84 with Jeremy Duncan, we walked through configuring the workspace. A lot of great questions in there. Very popular topic as we get more into the Now experience and workspaces and components. We're putting together a whole collection of good information for that. What else have we got coming up? More Quebec stuff. Lots more Quebec stuff.
We've got we're winding down on early access for Quebec. Yeah. So soon it will be general availability, and we might even have something extra in store for that period.
We've actually got to the point where the product managers are asking to be on our shows, and we have to untie that ball of yarn to figure out exactly how we're going to do that effectively for you, the viewer, so that you get that information and it's timely, but it's also appropriate and well thought out. So not that our product managers are not well thought out, but we didn't mean that to come off the wrong way. These are very smart and very talented people.
Well, thank you so much, everyone watching, and thank you, Chuck, for riding along with me. And
definitely.
You close this out, sir?
Close us out. Thank you for joining, and everybody stay safe, be safe, and we'll play that little jingle that we just borrowed.